Hi, it's Sue Ricks from SueRicks.com and the Sue Ricks Academy. And this is just some thoughts that I've had during the last few days about the importance of respect and compassion. And how those two words, compassion and respect, are just so lovely when living life. And whether you've come through, on the healing journey, whether you're looking into ways to give your life a lift, whether you're part of the reflexology community, those words, they still resonate and they're still true and they're so important. And when I was just thinking about some personal things and the connections that I'd had with some other people, it's just so much how they resonate. Because I know that when I came into the field of reflexology, and I'll always know how many years it's been because it's the age of my children. And so 33 years ago, and I remember being in a meeting and I, having come in from the desire to just change my life, the desire to organise what was happening in my head so that I didn't feel so overwhelmed. I'd come in from the sort of personal growth and development route, and that was through wanting to change my life and my view of myself because I was having such an awful time with myself. So having found out about some of the things about, the ways to think, and then understanding more about energy and actually understanding that the gifts and the talents that I'd been delightfully given were okay. And then I came into reflexology and I was sitting in this meeting, this is 30 something years ago, and, being told that, my views on reflexology weren't okay and weren't acceptable, and yet feeling so much part of the reflexology community and feeling, so welcome as a person into reflexology. And yet I had to conform and I had to behave and I had to do as I was told. And sadly, it was very, very difficult for me. And I know it's wonderful for so many people. And that's why it's important for people to do what's right for them. But I was being told that I need to use a really strong and firm pressure. And that's magnificent for some people, just not okay for me. So at that time, if I'd been able to have gone back and shared with myself about, kindness and compassion for me, but also kindness and compassion and respect for the other people around me, and we'd had that reciprocated both ways, so that there was some respect for my views as well, and some compassion for my viewpoint, as I had compassion and respect for their viewpoint. So I wasn't trying to stop anybody else doing what they were doing. I was just trying to be stopped in doing what I was doing. And being involved in gentle touch reflexology and coming through from the healing arts and just having this this core innate belief that we're okay as we are, and gentleness can meet compassion, and that in itself is just incredible self-healing. And it's just come to my mind over the last few weeks about how important it is to have that respect for each other and kindness for each other and compassion for each other, because we don't know what's going on in anybody else's world. So some people are aware of the struggles that I had last year, where I was bedbound for many months. And, I struggled with myself terribly. And, even though I was trying so hard to be, gentle and kind and supportive of myself, I got proper cross with myself too, because I was trying so hard to be able to overcome the pain and the discomfort. And I felt I could be doing better, and there was more I could be doing and should be doing. And yet I didn't understand the complexity of what was going on inside my body. And, I know that people can just literally change their lives overnight when they start to be so kind and compassionate to themselves. And that's been so important to me in if you think about the self-taught, if you think about, maybe just stop just for a moment now and think, how kind have I been to myself in the thoughts that I've been thinking in the last 30 minutes? I hope that it's gorgeous and beautiful and kind and supportive, but have you been having any chats with yourself? This morning I was having a chat with myself about, I could be doing something better. And then I stopped and I breathed and I refocused and I reconnected with myself and went, actually, you're doing a fine job. So I'm not necessarily dashing about in the way that I want to dash about, and I can be really quite slow on walking around on my sticks. But I'm getting about and I'm doing things and I'm making changes, and we're organising how to change the house, and I've got this beautiful power chair that I call Izzy, so you'll hear me talking about Izzy over time. Well, Izzy is amazing, but we can't get Izzy in through the regular doorway, so the door needs to be changed because she's beautiful, but she's got some beautiful wheels and treads to be able to help her to be able to give me such a great time. And it's amazing because I can, I can use this little sort of joystick and I can bomb around all over the place. It's really good fun. So when we can think back over our lives, and I was thinking about how it was for me in reflexology when I came in, it was a really, really tough ride. And yet the people I was talking to, they were just amazing. They are our leaders and our pioneers. And to be with them and to hear them speak was just fantastic. And there was I at the back of the room, this quiet and silent voice. I wasn't very brave and I didn't speak out very much. Just wanting, just like, please, please, please let me have that place for it to be kind and loving and gentle and vibrational and energetic and all the things that I believed in that were not okay at that time. And you couldn't work with children or so many different situations or conditions. And yet, fortunately, life has changed now. So, have you got areas in your life where you're thinking, I'm not allowed to be who I am? Are the things that, what is it that makes you you? I mean, that's what makes, you've come through with your joyfulness, your whateverness, your things that you've brought to earth that nobody else has had that, that particular configuration of experiences and the courses that you've been on, the life experiences that you've been through, like where you've lived, that makes a difference as well. The type of culture that you're part of, different people have different ways. Some cultures sing a lot. Some people, it's all organised around being able to make sure that they can honour their faith at regular times. For other people, it's about being able to get out into nature. What is it that makes you you? Because that's the thing that makes you so special. So have you had times when you've thought, actually, it's not okay to be who you are? And I was talking to a gentleman this morning, and I'm trying to get myself one of those lovely chairs that it helps me to be able to stand up to get out of the chair. So I'm trying to organise that at the moment. And I've met some smashing people, but it's really interesting when, it's happened a tremendous amount in talking to people about getting aids to help me, that I've had a lot of being talked at, and I've been told what I want. This is what you want, and this is what you're going to order, and this is why it'll be so good for you, and this is what you're going to have. And actually, I'd quite like them to sometimes just take a breath and just go, so this is one of my thoughts, and what do you think? Because, I've got thoughts going on in my head about what I would like. And I was talking to the gentleman who came this morning, and he said he'd not heard of lipedema. And because my top half is so much smaller, and so my bottom half is so disproportionately large in comparison to my upper part, I was saying, that through my life, I've had so many problems with people being judgmental about me as being gross and obese. And actually, you look at my hands, I'm not exactly. And I've got this condition. And, when anybody who's got lipedema, anybody who's on here who's got lipedema or knows anybody who's got lipedema, let's talk some facts about it, is that when your body goes through stress, your body releases cortisol. And as soon as your body releases cortisol, the corrupt part of the system that creates lipedema grabs whatever's passing through the food tract, stashes it away in the mutated fat. Right? Did any of us go through stress during COVID times? Yeah, so the COVID situation had a dramatic effect on everybody, and also specifically on the lipedema community, because there was so much stress, which meant that so many people in the lipedema community just got bigger, and the mutations that caused that to happen. So we've had to work extra hard, and so I've had a fitness trainer virtually all my life to try to counteract the extra weight that we're being required to carry. What I said to the gentleman this morning is, I would have loved people to have been so much more kind and compassionate and respectful, rather than just saying that I was lazy and I need to. What was the phrase that somebody said to me when I was in an airport? You fat whatever, you need to get off your arse and exercise a little bit more. Well, I exercise all the time. I've had a fitness trainer virtually all of my life. And if they knew what I do to manage being able to move myself around, they probably wouldn't be quite as unkind. So are the times that we could be kinder to ourselves. And when I heard myself saying to this guy about being kind and compassionate and respectful, I realised when I came upstairs to have my lovely massage, which is just heavenly, I was like, do you know what? There are times when I could be kinder to myself and more respectful to myself and more compassionate to myself. And then we can be kinder and more compassionate and more respectful to others. And that's part of, I've come from the reflexology community. You've come from whatever community you're part of. It's just so important in any industry to have kindness and compassion and respect. So I'll leave you with those thoughts for today, while I think those thoughts for myself about kindness and compassionate and respect for myself and for others, and also for my body and for other people's bodies where they're doing their healing as they can do as well. So sending you lots of love, and I wish you a very lovely day. Lots of love from Sue. Bye.